to make all this stuff happen. But now that you're staring at the computer, you can see it all. So let's get the recording on this started. And here we go. So you can see a few of us are already on the phone here. Cool. All right. So this week, I'm going to go over some basic stuff. We're going to start with LinkedIn. And the reason why I'm doing this is a few of you have reached out to me and asked me some questions. And some of you have come into this and are getting all caught up and everything else. You're getting a little bit comfortable now that you've been doing it for a few weeks. And I congratulate you on taking action, especially Brian Grout, who's new to the group. If you haven't sent him a friend request, go ahead and connect with him. Really cool guy. He's already done some stuff and reached out to me, and he and I have already started working on some stuff for his real estate agent. And then also Matthew Signs reached out to me, and we've got a marketing deal we're going to do together for some agents in the Virginia area that I just happen to have some connections with. And also, he's going to make a video, and he's already doing a social media syndicate presentation with an agent in his area. So, man, that's badass, dude. I really like it when people take action. And, I always congratulate everybody on here when they do cool stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing your video, Matthews. I'm sure the rest of the group is too, so that we can see how you do it. So with that being said, man, if y'all, I always say this every week, but if y'all need anything, by all means, reach out to me. Send me an email, text message, give me a shout. I've got all your numbers stored in my phone. And, what happened with Brian and I is we looked over his real estate agents' profiles on LinkedIn and Facebook and did the audits. He got me a couple of his agents, over 4 of them, I think, that we looked at. And in return, we realized he was missing some stuff on his profile. So then we looked around and realized that a lot of folks were missing stuff on their profiles. And so I wanted to share that with you. I also want to let you know that I just bought another course, an internet marketing course on LinkedIn, so that I can get really, really adept. It's about a 10-hour training deal. So I'm going to try to knock it out over the next week and try to do it this weekend, stay up late at night and go through it all so that I'll be able to bring you guys a lot of information on LinkedIn as well. So I'm really excited about that because I like learning just like y'all do. That's why we're all here together. So, and then if it's a good training product, then I'll probably just let y'all take a look at it as well, or I'll just give you the highlights on it. So either way. So I want to show you guys a few things about LinkedIn. Okay, so let's just start with my profile. About 3 months ago, a lady named Preeti, yeah, that's her real name. Let's just pull her up right here so that since we're looking, we can just put a name with the face, right? Little thing about Canadians is they are quite the internet marketers, right? And so Preeti here is a internet marketer that focuses on LinkedIn. That's where she does her primary business, and she is in Kevin Nation's mastermind group with me, which, by the way, everybody's there in Las Vegas right now. And because I was in San Diego and then having to move, I didn't make it, so I'm like heartbroken that I don't get to go hang out with the family, because I always get good stuff when I go, but I'll catch them when they do it again in July. And anyway, so Preeti about 2 months ago hopped on Facebook and sent me a message, and she was like, "Hey, Ryan, I noticed your profile on LinkedIn. It doesn't look like the way that it should on LinkedIn, and I really like you, so I want to help you out. And I made you this video," right? Video marketing, internet marketing. She goes, "I made you this video where I critique your profile. Don't take any hard feelings towards it. I just want you to get the most of LinkedIn because I think you're really cool," right? Something along those lines. And so she did this audit of my LinkedIn site, and it changed things, right? My LinkedIn profile, and I'm not a big person on LinkedIn, and I'm going to show you some stuff that you can do to where you don't have to spend a whole lot of time on there, or rather any time if you don't want to, because I check LinkedIn for like probably 2-3 minutes a day, and that's it. Now, I'm sure if I worked it a lot more, and there's so many people telling me that it's a great place, and there's a lot of people talking about it in the mastermind. I just, I have so much going on Facebook, it's hard for me to balance 2 of them, but I'm focusing more on it because I keep hearing more and more great things about it, and it being a more effective tool than what I'm using it for, which is why I bought this program. So anyway, back to the story. So Preeti does this audit of my profile, and she totally changed. I get at least 5 or 6 new connections each day of people reaching out to me, right? Which is always a good thing when people reach out to you. I've grown my connections a lot in the last couple of months. I don't really count, so I couldn't tell you, but I've got several thousand here on LinkedIn, and I don't send out requests. And you see all my email signatures and everything lead back to Facebook. So if I really put some in, which is why I want to put some effort into this and why I'm suggesting y'all do this as well. But anyway, when she did the audit, the first thing that she pulled up was this summary. And now, if you'll look over here to the right, in the last 3 days, 13 people have viewed my profile. Okay, this is going to say the same thing on yours. And it tells me 29 times I've shown up in search results in the last 3 days. And that's not a whole lot, right? But I mean, let's just think about it. If 13 people, if 2 of them took action, let's just say if 1 of them took action every 3 days, I'd still be doing pretty good. And I'll show you something. I have a different form on LinkedIn than I have anywhere else. And that's where these come from. Yes, it's Facebook for LinkedIn. Don't laugh at me. But that's where those come from. So they come from LinkedIn. So those are hot leads from today. I mean, as you notice, just like the leads that y'all filled out. Y'all filled the ones out from Facebook. These are the ones from LinkedIn. And anyway, this came over just 2 hours ago from a post I made on LinkedIn. So it's an effective lead generation. And those are real estate agents, by the way, that send leads in saying, hey, I'd like your help. And so we know this strategy works. You can see that right there yourself. So really cool stuff. So anyway, right here in the summary, mine just says, do you want to generate endless realtor leads? And you can read all that. But if you'll notice, I've put some good keywords in here: realtor, investor, leads, closing over $2 million a month in mortgages. And then that's obviously a very powerful offer that you could use that same offer right there and just twist that around. And you're more than welcome to swipe any of my stuff, and you could just twist that around and use that for realtors. Would you like to generate endless buyer and listing leads while consistently closing over $2 million a month in real estate transaction without having to work double the hours or spend months learning some new elaborate marketing software, right? I mean, y'all are more than welcome to swipe that and just switch it on your LinkedIn headline and put that as, and that, because that's what I do. If I'm looking to target real estate agents for the next couple of months, I'll just switch that out to endless buyer and listing leads, or endless, buyer, seller, and investor leads while consistently closing at over $2 million, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so right here, I kind of give a little background of who I am and what I'm up to, but I've also made sure that I use the right keywords: mortgage, market's another good one because I'm in marketing, management, right? Loans, let's see, mortgage again. So you see I've loan officers. I've put all these keywords in here. That way when people go up here to this search bar and they search in mortgages, loan officers, if we're connected in any way, or if we have what they call a second remove or twice remove or second connection, whatever LinkedIn language you want to use, which means that I'm a friend of a friend, and that I'm still going to show up in that search bar. And so down here, I made sure that I listed my expertise, right? So I'm kind of a clown. We can all agree on that. And so instead of giving like a CEO or like everything else, I just put rockstar at hardcorecloser.com. And then I've asked a couple people to give me recommendations, or maybe I didn't ask them. Maybe they just offered them. Either way, I would ask a couple people to give me recommendations so that when people see I've got experience here, and they can see that other people have recommended me. By the way, I'd be more than happy to recommend y'all too. Just send me a reminder or a message on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to do it. So let me go back up here because that's escalated quickly now, didn't it? So, okay, so rockstarhardcorecloser.com. You can see I got a couple recommendations there. I filled out my deal at Postfuser, made sure that people knew I was connectable there. I put the fact that I have a radio show, and just because that's something that I still do, and I want that to stick out. That and you may have something where you're like community organizer for your HOA, or you sit on the board for the local realtor board or the local mortgage board or whatever it is, right? The networking deal that you sit on the board with. And so with that being in mind, you want to make sure that you list that as well too, right? Because when people search for those type of things, you can show up in the search results. List everything that you get. I mean, this is basically your online resume, and I'll show you all that here in a second. So you go over here, and I made sure I put my past work history as well: loan officer, president, investor relations, all the good things that you have down here. I put my publications, like the books that I've written and the projects that we worked on. Let's see. Free strategy sessions, products. Down here, here's where we're going. Now, when you go to someone, I'll show you where this is at in a minute. But you can see that 84 people have endorsed me for mortgage lending, and this is all unsolicited. 64 for real estate, even though I've never been a real estate agent. 39 in marketing, 33 in social media, 24 in sales, 21. You can see all those numbers, and then there's also people that have endorsed me for, just one-off, right? All these could be following in here, but I've got a lot of endorsements on LinkedIn, and I'll show you how you get those and the best way to generate those too. So the reason why I go through all this, and here's all my recommendations, people that have talked about the projects that I've worked on and everything else. So let's go over here to our friend Google. The first thing that shows up, I got a lot of results, 16,800 results with my name on it, right? The first thing that shows up is LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a public profile that Facebook and some of these other sites really don't. LinkedIn is more accessible through search mediums and things like that, just like Google Plus is. And Facebook and Google, they're in this like big battle of who's got bigger balls. And they don't want to share their information with each other, so all they get really is like the clip it here on Facebook. But LinkedIn's a little bit different. And so you think about it, most likely when someone searches for your name, yep, you're going to be the first thing they show up right there. Is that you, Brian? Is that you, Brian? That's you. And what I did, just so you know, this right here on Chrome, this is incognito searching, and this is so when you push on a Mac, it's Command Shift and N, and that pulls up a brand new one. And then this little guy here, and what this does is this allows you to surf the internet anonymously. So when I'm searching, this means I'm not searching logged into any any Gmail account or anything like that. So LinkedIn, the first social media site, shows up for her too. I'll try one more person. Same thing, Tony. So that tells you. Tony, is that you with the arrest record right there? So I had a client back in January who, when you pulled up his name, the first thing that showed up was this guy ripped me off for mortgages, and it was just because he had like a name like John Smith. It didn't even have anything to do with it. And the biggest thing that he wanted from it was to create enough content to push that back. So, all right. So I showed you all that to show you how important that when people search for you. Now, listen, we're well aware that we get people's social security numbers, their bank account statements, and all these other things, right? And so you can't think for 1 minute that after, whether it be after the fact or before they make a decision, that people are searching to find out about your company, whether you're reputable, whether you have anything online. People want to get a sense of who you are so that they can become comfortable with you as you go through this financial transaction together. And we can all agree on that. So knowing that when they search for you, the first thing that shows up is LinkedIn, you want to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row here. So you want to tell them a little bit about your background. Use somewhere between 300 and 700 words on this. And so with 300 to 700 words, that's going to give you, this is probably about 500 words right here. So it's not a whole heck of a lot. And so from there, that's going to give you enough space to fill up the search terms, right? You want to make sure that your profile strength right here is that it's all the way full, that you've got everything filled out. If not, then LinkedIn will walk you through the steps that you need to get it filled out. So let's go over to home here, and let me show you. 135 people call. I wrote on that. I wrote this post. Every day somebody comments on it, and I wrote that post 6 months ago, as you can see. So, matter of fact, I didn't know you could unsubscribe. LinkedIn's getting gangster like Facebook. Check that out, y'all. So if you're tired of seeing the same old things come through like that's been coming through for 6 months, and it's really irrelevant to me now, then you just unsubscribe, just like on Facebook, and you won't get those messages anymore. Well, hot diggity darn. All right. So on this, it's going to give you a couple things. So if I go to, let's just go back over to, I don't know if Michael Rice. And I are pals here. We are. And you can go down here and endorse somebody just by hitting the, oh, I've already endorsed them. Aha, see, I have already endorsed them. So you can go down there and hit the plus button. Let me see. Nope. All right, let me try this. Patrick, are we connected? There we go. All right, so when it shows up on Patrick, right, I've never endorsed him before. And so right here, this shows up. Does Patrick have these skills or expertise? Well, of course he does. So I'm going to hit endorse. And then what happens is, then it's going to ask me about some of my other friends. These actually are people that I know. I only endorse people that I know. Gary's somebody that I worked with for a long time. She doesn't know anything about FHA. She's a home warranty person. But Gary does. Don't know her. I don't know him. But you can sit here for a couple seconds and go through here and endorse a few people. I used to work with Roman. And what that does is that sends them an alert. Haas knows a lot about marketing. And so as you go through here and find out, he does know about that. When you endorse a few people, what it does is it sends them, see this right here, endorse you for a skill, mortgage banking. So 20 hours ago, my old buddy J.C. Meir endorsed me for marketing. Or I'm sorry, for mortgage. And about 22 hours before, about 2 hours before that, my buddy Philip Postel endorsed me for 12 different skills, okay? And then you can see this person endorsed me, blah, blah. So every time I endorse somebody on here, by simply hitting the endorse button, and I'm only going to endorse people I know. So every time I do that, then they get an alert like that. So that keeps me, that's another, you think about it, I always talk about those points of familiarity. You know that you have to have 5 to 7 touches with someone to create bonding and trust and familiarity and all that good stuff. And so that gives me it gives me ability, again, to get in front of them and build that what I call that good karma, that bonding and trust. Like, oh, hey, Ryan endorsed me. I've been meaning to talk to him. You wouldn't believe how many times that happened. Well, of course you would. But that's generally what happens. People go, oh, man, you know what? He endorsed me. I got a message saying he endorsed me. I need to reach out to him. Let's see here. So that's how the endorsement game works. And then what that'll do, and you can X out of there at any time, is that'll put endorsements. Look at Patrick. He got major endorsements. Look at this guy. He's on it. And what that'll do is that'll put all the stuff down here and put it down in your endorsement deal. Good job, man. I like that. Let's look at your experience. He's even got that filled out pretty good. Got it filled out pretty good. Got the LinkedIn game down. I dig it. So, okay. The next thing I'm going to show y'all, and I wrote a blog post about this not too long ago. Well, actually, it probably was a long time ago. And you can just come here to this, and you can type in buffer. And I believe that there are a couple of you already using it, so I want to share it with you. I know Patrick is using it. And right here, put your social media on steroids with the buffer app. So I'll go back here in our group while I'm on here and leave that down in the thread so you know which one we're working with here. Always looking out for you. So this app called Buffer, you can download it. Here's the logo. Here's what it looks like. And what Buffer does is it allows you to, if you come up here and you search for, let's just say home. Actually, you know what I saw today? New home starts are down 16%, right? So I could come here. New home start slide 16%, but surge in permits suggest, yeah. So I started to say something's not right because we have no inventory on the market, so builders should be building up, but I guess that's what's up. So, but anyway, go right here, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to type in what do I want to share. Don't let the numbers fool you. The fighters of foo. Leave the link, and then I'm just going to hit buffer. What happens on buffer, and I show you all this in that the video, right, that I just left back there. But you can go over to settings, and you can, you go over to schedule, and you can schedule what times you want things posted on. So I've got different times for different days. You can get as gangster as you want, twice a day at 9:03 a.m. and 1:41 p.m. is when I post on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Tuesdays and Thursday, I also post at 10. You know, just got a little schedule to where it doesn't seem like it's an automatic thing, right? It rotates. Now, Buffer works okay for Facebook as well. I just don't use it for Facebook because I try to be a real personality there and not do anything on autopilot. That's just me. You're more than welcome to use Buffer as well. I like Buffer better than Hootsuite just because it's a heck of a lot easier to use. And honestly, a lot of websites, like let's just go back to mine, for example. Well, let's just do this. If you haven't ever heard of Mashable, it's a great website, by the way. But you can see that on Mashable here, I think they have a Buffer app. I think that's actually where I first heard of it. Then again, maybe not. They're down to Google+, tweeting, and sharing. So anyway, so you can take this back to my site. We'll do it that way. So on a lot of sites, you have this little bar over here. It's called Dig. And so you can just hit the Buffer right there and add whatever site that you're on. Or you can simply copy the link and you can save Buffer up in your bar and then you just type it in there when you want to share it. I've got a lot of channels obviously on here that I share it through, including my wife's and Lindsay's. So with that being said, I would use that for LinkedIn, and if you don't have time to get on Facebook, I would definitely use that for Facebook as well. So now that we've spent half this time looking at LinkedIn, let's spend the other half of our time today, more if we need it, looking at Facebook. And these are the things that you can share with agents too. You know, the fact that that's search keyword rich on LinkedIn is huge. The fact that the things that I'm about to show you here on Facebook, it's just the little things make a big difference when it comes to a lot of this stuff. So let's just go here to Tony, and we'll pick on you again today, Tony. So let's see how he's got it set up. Mortgage Express. See, now that's perfect. He's got when people land on Tony's profile here on social media, on Facebook I mean, and they look and see about, he's got senior loan officer at Mortgage Express, and when you actually hit Mortgage Express, you can see that it's a real business. There's an actual address. It's 8 to 5. There's the corporate phone number. There's 815 people that like it. 29 people have been here, and so on, right? It just has a legit appearance and ties everything together. Let's see here. I believe Michael's got his right. See, on this, for the if your company, Michael, if they have a Facebook fan page like the one that I just looked at for Tony, then tie it into that. It's real easy to do. What will happen? I'll show you how to do it using my profile. So you go to the About section and you edit it. And right here you can see once it shows up, and you just type stuff in, and once it shows up, then you just save that in this spot right here. So I could type in wherever I work. I could go see, there you go. I would just tie that in right there just by typing in New Fed Mortgage, and assuming that that's your company, obviously. And I would just tie that in and put that on your program so that people can see that you have a legitimate business behind you. Just gives you a good appearance anyway. And especially if agents want to know, if they're looking at you online, which hopefully they are, right? They want to know where you work at, what mortgage company you're with. There you have it. If you want to, you can start your own fan page. You can go to Facebook, just start your own fan page for, you may want to do, for example, Michael, you may want to do Michael Rice Mortgages in Massachusetts, baby, what's happening, right? You might want to do that. And the whole thing, the baby, what's happening, and everything, man. If you're going to go all in. But you might want to do that and start your own fan page, and that's totally cool too. Just make sure that you tie it in. So if you don't want to drive the traffic to your work page, right, because for whatever reason you want to keep the people there, just use it for your other one. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to write posts on there. That doesn't mean you have to engage on that site, just to have something of the appearance of professionalism. And if you need a few friends or likes on there, you can go to Fiverr.com. And I will give you 3,100 permanent Facebook likes for your fan page in 24 hours for $5. So you can't beat that for anything. So, I mean, you can even give the appearance, right? This is what you pay for. These are the secrets of the group. Hey, sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. And so here's a way for you to go, and however they drive traffic, I have no clue. They run an ad somewhere, or they have some kind of gadgets, but they're permanent Facebook likes, whatever that means. Here's 1,500 high quality likes. They're just traffic generating bots is all, and they get people to like your page. And so, but when somebody shows up on a page and you have, you know, I don't know, 3,500 fans. See, I've never used Fiverr. I'm an idiot. I built my business the hard way. But right now I'm spending $100 a day to grow this stuff. So I'm at like $17.95. So it doesn't take a million fans, but for $5, you could have, 3,500 people like your fan page. And you could have that appearance that, oh, wow, when realtors look at you, like, oh, wow, he knows what he's doing. He's got 3,500 fans. He must have a lot of happy customers. And then, the way that we tie in everything as far as, hey, check this out, y'all. Y'all are seeing some official, super secret gangster shit right here, everybody. So my buddy Shark Tank, and I'll just show you the power of the internet. Actually, it's kind of good that y'all are seeing this. So when you type in Revestor, which is my buddy Bill here, we did a, for those of you that weren't on the webinar, there is a webinar sign up. No, there's a webinar replay in the back of the group here with Bill Lyons and I talking about Revestor, which, by the way, it's free to go get an account, and he's really trying to help push profiles, which he mentioned earlier today to me. So if you haven't already gone and gotten a profile there, you should. So anyway, Bill and I did that webinar together. But the way that I met him, and this is like the craziest story, the way that I met Bill was he was on Shark Tank with like Mark Cuban and all them, right? And so when he was on Shark Tank, I made this video. And let's just watch like the first second or two. I was watching one of my favorite shows on TV, period, and that's the Shark Tank. I'm a huge Mark Cuban fan. Hell, I even like Kenneth O'Leary, the shark himself, Mr. Wonderful, as they call him on there, Barbara Corcoran. They're really cool. Damon, too, and I don't even know the Croatian guys. For laughing, and if the gentleman's watching it, I think why he did not get money, I think he has a great product, and I'm going to do a little demo here for you, but I think one of the reasons he didn't get any money from the Sharks is he got really nervous in the moment. And so anyway, I kind of just like laid it out there, and I didn't know Bill at the time, but I just told it like it was on this video. Well, he reached out to me. We did a webinar together, and look at this. I got 167,000 views the first time this thing aired on TV. So you think about it, me having the position, right, that it's going to come back out again next week on 5/24. People are going to look up Revestor from Shark Tank, and we all just saw that I'm the #1 result in the search right here on YouTube. And matter of fact, let's just try something real quick. I'm the #4 when it comes to the organic searches when people look for it. So I already get a lot of traffic from that. And there again, that's just something that I saw on TV and I just decided to make a video about. So the reason why I show you that is just to say you never know when you're seeing something that you can, on TV or whatever, just make a quick review of it. Something goes to the top of your mind. The next thing you know, I got 167,000 views. It's the best video I've ever done. And now I've got a replay of that coming on TV. And since I position myself there, I can't lose. And it has to do with real estate, so you can't lose. The other thing is, I also did that another time with a guy named BJ something or other when he had this book called Social Media is Bullshit. And that didn't go over so well, though. So back to Facebook. All right, so you want to make sure that that part is filled out in the About You section. You want to put as much information here as possible because at one point or another, what's going to happen is Facebook's going to make all this public if you choose to let it be public. Even over here to the point on mine, where it says see all contact information. I even filled out my About Me section here on Facebook really well, but I don't see it anymore. Interesting. Okay, here we go. About You. You want to make sure you fill out this section as well. The thing that I did was I typed in, what do I do? I work specifically with loan officers, helping them increase production, just to let people know exactly what it is that I do. Because, when everybody meets us, that's how we're programmed as human beings, right? Especially as Americans. We're programmed to, okay, who are you? What do you do for a living? And so on and so forth. So you want to make sure that while they're snooping around, before they maybe engage you, but while they're snooping around, that this is public information and that you let them know exactly who you are and what you do. You gave them a taste of it up here with what your job and work and education is. But down here, that's really better because that's what everybody wants to know when they're looking for you. What do you do? What's so special about you? Might as well just tell them. So you want to make sure that you tie all that in together. Now, last week, I gave y'all the speech on the evolution of communication and also the 5 social media prime time. So I want to show you how I'm following my own advice and how my edge rank is dramatically increasing, and I'm engaging more and more people. And it's not because I'm just saying some genius things or any kind of outside of the box stuff. I'm just going to show you how easy it is if you'll just be consistent with Facebook here. So let's just go back and look over the last, let's just say 24 hours. So here's yesterday, right? This was in the news. Charles Ramsey, the guy that rescued Amanda Berry. I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, and his 911 call came on there, and it's hilarious, dude. He's like straight up tough guy. And so I just put it out there. He did. He reminded me of Jules from Pulp Fiction when I heard his voice, you know, like Sam Jackson. And so I just put that out there on Facebook. And the next thing you know, I got quite a few comments and a few likes. Nothing major, right? The next thing, then that primed me to put something out there for my business, right? I've given something out here for entertainment, something that's of absolutely no business. It's like, hey, we're just friends. Here's something funny to share off the top of my mind. Nothing too creative. Then I went the next time that I posted during the day, I posted about my business, right? Hey, if you have not already subscribed to my blog, then you totally should. And so from there, I even had somebody share that, which is really cool. And the next one, I just saw a post when I was scrolling through Facebook from a guy named Rodney Carrington, and he said something about, you know, today is a Memorial Day, a Memorious Day or momentous day because the Pope has finally decided to install a propeller on the top of his hat. And I thought, you know what, the Pope would be cool if he installed the propeller on the top of his hat. And so I just typed that out there. You know what? The next thing you know, these are real estate agents that are chiming in, and mortgage people, real estate agent, motivational speaker, real estate agent, that are chiming in on this, just like out of the blue, right? Even had a friend of mine share another picture of the Pope there. And I know that these sound like really easy stuff, but what's happening is the more people that chime in and see these posts, the more people I'm getting those points of, I'm connecting with people, I'm getting those points of interest, which lead to those leads. And if you take a step back and look, and you can do the exact, we'll get into here in about a week or so, how to generate these WooFoo leads and set them up, because it's completely free as well. But you can see I get 5, 14, when I post good, 13, I get a lot of leads that come in, right? And these are realtors and loan officers, right? The majority of these right now are loan officers because that's who I'm focusing on. But these are realtors here. And so, you know, I get a lot of these leads that come in, and they're all from social media, right? You can do the same exact thing, and it starts by generating conversations. Nick's a past client of mine. He went through a 90-day program. He actually is works for a professional hockey team. He's using social media for his hockey team, and they are just crushing it. And matter of fact, if you Google my name, he's the guy that shows up and says that I'm a scam. But then once you watch it, you realize that he actually likes. And he's just talking real numbers here and gives me a little shout out, so it shows up on my wall. And guess what? 18, 19, 20 people like this, and there's 7 comments. That's a lot of exposure that he helped me out because he's a cool cat, right? Giving me a little shout out. I noticed that yesterday Google Plus just had a big makeover, and it looked really cool. So I just shared that with everybody because I thought people would enjoy it. And you can see right there I got 15 or so comments. And this is all within one day. Same thing here. You know, people were in Texas. We had a bad storm last night, real bad storm. My roofing clients are really happy, but the rest of the people around here, a lot of their stuff got tore up. And so, hey, I just put, if you're in the tornado zone, there's a lot of us praying for you. And, you know, yesterday, again, my dog bit Jackson. And I won't go through all these bit by bit, but you see, I'm not really talking about business a whole lot. But what happens on the flip side of that is I get a lot of these people sending me messages on a daily basis, wanting to do interviews, work with me, hire me. When can we talk about stuff? It's actually really cool. And for those of you that are here in Dallas, or in the Collin County area, rather, Lars Lofstrand just sent me this earlier. They are having a happy hour at 5 o'clock today at Village Burger Bar at the shops at Waters Creek in Allen for Halo Realty. So Eloy, Brian, Michelle, Marla, if any of y'all want to hit that up, I think I'm going to go over there just to hang out with Lars and some of the people there like Colleen that work with me. But if you're in Dallas, make sure, if you want, or in Allen rather, make sure you stop by there if you want to. Want to share that with you while we're here. And that's a direct result, just so you know, a direct result of him, Lars, seeing this post right here and reaching out. Hey, it made me think of you. I want to invite you to the open house. And that's the CEO of a real estate company. And just by taking, of course, who can resist, right? I mean, anytime I post a picture of this guy, it's absolutely money on Facebook. So just the fact of random things that happen in your head, right? You're somewhere and you think beautified Dallas. If you're somewhere and you're thinking something that might be funny, man, just take a chance and put it out there. Not everybody's going to agree with you. Matter of fact, not everybody's going to agree to you to the point of this. I want to show you the flip side of that. Because I notice some of y'all are starting to post more and more on Facebook, but I want to keep pushing you as much as I can to post more frequently, because the more you post frequently on there, the more exposure you're going to get, more money you're going to make, more leads you're going to generate. So right here, this is an ad that I'm running. And matter of fact, maybe Steve and Brian came in from this ad. And on this ad, it says LOs have 5 years left to originate. And it's not really a scare tactic. It's basically, I was trying to tell everybody, if they watch the whole thing, that if you hustle for the next 5 years and I'm wrong, hey, then no big deal. You still got a little bit of money. But what if I'm right? But you can see it's got shared 33 times. And it's got 83 comments on it. And then 41 for 2 for 3, 45 or so likes on it. But most of them are like this. You, sir, are an idiot. Right? And I'm pretty funny. Right? I've been called worse. And then I also give them some data to back up my claim. Right? Then this guy. So, you know, some people just give honest feedback. But right here, I'm trying to be as diplomatic as I can. I'm not calling. I've done it in the past. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not calling people names. I'm just trying to show them that I'm engaging and that, hey, you know what? They can call me whatever and I'm all good with it. No big deal. So, oh, yeah. And then sometimes I get the haters, man. And I'll just show y'all these two. This guy did this and he kept coming back over and over. Like even the next day. And just like I would have considered buying into your program. So anyway. So I get haters too, right? And some people are nice on here. And like this, I don't need a career advice from a guy that's hardcore closer. And I could take all this to heart, man, because there's a lot of bad comments on here. But at the same time, the people that I want to connect with are too busy filling out the form to get started and have a strategy session with me for free to figure out how they can maybe get ahead of this curve. So I wanted to show you, on one hand, I get a lot of positive comments, but on my business page, sometimes I got to take some negative shit too, right? It's the good with the bad. But the point is I'm out there doing it and just making things happen. So not even me, I don't live in like this crystal ball where everything's like perfect and everybody's my friend and loves me on social media. Hell, I got to work just as hard and take ridicule like anybody else. And so, you know, if I'm willing to stand up out here and get called an idiot and everything else for things that may or may not work out in the future, but it's sure going to be nice to get ahead of them. But, you know, whether it works out or not, I've still got to take the action, because one of these days Facebook's going to open up this bar and they're going to get this search thing down, right? It's going to happen. They're working on it night and day. I promise you it's going to happen. And when they do, I'm going to have all this content out here for people to find me that's public. And that's another thing I forgot to point out. Make sure if you're posting something that you just want your friends to see, fine. If you want to post stuff about your work, you want to make sure that it's public so that when people land on your page, and people from the internet land on your page, they can see that at least you post stuff about your mortgage business on there. So, right there, you just put like random, and I always make sure that I like everybody's comment, and I try to chime in when I can, just to be social. Now, I know that y'all are all busy doing loans, right? I get that. But you could spend 10 minutes at the end of the night going back. You could post while you're just on the fly. So you take your cell phone out and you type in something funny, right? And then you post. And then at the end of the day, you don't have to check it. And at the end of the day, before you go to sleep or whatever, just go back through and like everybody's stuff and chime in. And that'll drag it out longer too. That'll put it back. Remember, with EdgeRank, there's that time decay. So if you waited to the end of the night or a couple of hours later till you had some free time to go back and spend 5 minutes or so on that post again, that'll drag it back through the EdgeRank or back through the news feed because of the time decay in the EdgeRank equation that we talked about last week. And each time that you post, EdgeRank does consider the frequency of your posts too, but it mostly considers engagement. So the fact that I had no idea I had that many comments, but the fact that I had 10 comments on here, interesting. the fact that I have 10 comments on here helps my edge rank, and it assures me that those people are seeing my post here in this news feed, right? As opposed to being over here in this sidebar of doom. The more comments, and just to give you a visual of edge rank real quick, the more comments you have here, the more likes you have, which I have 0 likes if you look at that. Everybody just chimed in, so that's really cool. But if the more likes you have, the more comments, the more shares, that's weight, right? The more you have, the more it weighs. And that pulls you out of basically this sidebar of doom over here that Facebook calls the ticker. It pulls you out of this and puts you back into the news feed here. And that's where you want to land, because a lot of us forget to go through this ticker. There's a lot going on over here. But this is where most people surf and spend their time on Facebook, is right through here in this ticker. And while you're scrolling through here, be social. You know, if you see somebody that you might even remotely like their post, just go ahead and like it. Hey, it's a picture of themselves. They want you to like it. You can bet that. And so just go through here and engage a little bit, especially if it's something you want, somebody you want to see stuff from pretty regularly. And just go through here, look for your real estate agents that you're connected with, like Amber here, and make sure that you like it. And that's the whole key. If you have a couple of minutes, then you can go through here and leave comments on stuff that really catches your attention. Because the more social you are, the more you engage with people on here, the more likely they're going to engage with you. So the key is to post, honestly, at least twice a day. You can do that by going through Buffer, or you and that'll cover your LinkedIn and your Facebook. You can tie them both together. Or you can go and just do it like when you think of stuff. When you're at lunch and you see something funny, you know, person in front of me's digging in their butt, right? Person in front of you picks their booger and wipes on their pants. Whatever, dude. I'm just like naming gross stuff. But whatever it is, just be sure to put it out there, because people start familiarizing themselves with you, and they'd rather laugh about the person in front of you picking their nose than be bothered by, you know, 6 steps to spring clean an email newsletter, right? They'd rather be able to engage with you and say, that's hilarious. The other day, I was at Walmart and this lady sneezed all over the back of my neck. Didn't even cover herself or nothing. I didn't know what to do. You never know what's going to happen. But the fact that you're able to engage with people on that level and them laugh, and people enjoy what Chris Weaver calls musings, right? When people like the songs, or people like funny things that you said, or back in the day it was those e-cards that came out all the time. But people go through and they enjoy those musings, they'll engage with you. And what that does is that keeps you at the front of their mind. So that when they think mortgages, they're going to think of you. Right? They think, you know what? We need to refinance our house, or you know what? We need to buy another house. You know what? Brian does that. Ryan does that. Michael does that. Whatever, right? Because you're always on Facebook. Not always on Facebook, but you're always there for them, right? You're branding yourself in front of them. It's not so much about, you know, posting about your business or whatever. If you have the About section right here filled out and it shows them where you work, they can find out at any time. But I always say, you know, post twice a day, and for every 2 posts that you put out there about your personal life, post 1 for business. I try to subscribe to that. Sometimes I have a lot more funny stuff to say than business, because I don't always take a lot of clients on. And some of you are the same way. I know that Brian, for example, is really not looking for a lot more agents to work with at the time, if I remember correctly. And so some of you are kind of busy as well, so you may not have to post as often about your business, but you just want to make sure that you're current on here, because you never know who's going to reach out to you. I get probably 3 to 5 people a month that reach out to me. Now, they don't always do loans with the person I suggest them to, but they at least reach out to me and say, hey, you know what? I figured you'd know somebody good in real estate, or I figured you'd know somebody who could help me with my mortgage. I want to save money, or whatever the case may be. So, in recap, make sure that you filled out your background and experience and summary and all that stuff here on on LinkedIn. Where did it go? There was a summary there, and I lost it somehow. LinkedIn be skipping around on me. I think it has something to do with my Mac. So make sure that that's filled out on your summary. There we go. There's his experience, all that good stuff. And I thought that you had a summary on there too, but if not, that's all right. You can hop to it. And you can see right here, just as we're talking, you know, connections come in from people searching me, I would imagine. So, and it's all because, right, just like anything else, same on LinkedIn works for Facebook, is because I post. I'm on here regularly putting stuff out there. So, and I use Buffer, like full autopilot on LinkedIn. I just use Buffer only. But you can see the reason why people look for me is because I'm regularly posting on here. and I'd literally spend less. This is probably the longest I've had LinkedIn pulled up on my computer, and I don't know how long. And I still get messages and deals from here all the time. So same with Facebook. You want to be active on here. Make sure you post at least twice a day. When you post about your business and your mortgage business, make sure that you leave it as public. If it's something that is funny where you cuss or something like that and you just want to save it for your friends, that's fine as well. I just highly recommend you being you on Facebook. And if you have a funny personality, great. If you have a serious personality and you're into like serious things, then that's what you need to talk about. Because guess what? There's going to be people you're connected to that resonate with you and recognize that and agree with you on that and going to be able to bond with you, and they'll tell their friends. The good thing about y'all is like almost everybody is a prospect for us, because everybody either owns a house, wants to own a house, or needs to refinance the house that they already own. So I mean, you've got a good chance to connect with everybody on Facebook. And like I said, according to the National Association of Realtors, 64% of people in America own a home. So out of every 100 friends that you have on here, 64 of them, even if we just cut that in half, 30 of them own a home. So they're going to need to do that over the next few years. So we got about 10 minutes left. Here's the next thing I want to show you, because that just brought up a good point. Go through with your agents and make sure, say, hey, one thing I noticed, I want to help you grow your social media presence. One thing I noticed is that you're not tied into Keller Williams right here. So you want to make sure you tie into your company page so that people think you look legit, or your fan page, or whatever the case. A lot of realtors, when Brian and I looked at that, didn't have that filled out. So you want to know how to add more friends on Facebook. Here's the key. We all have these Excel spreadsheets or whatever, right? So you can go here, you can add people. You can add people from your contact book over here. You can add everybody. You can upload, copy and paste from an Excel spreadsheet. But we all have people in our database, right? Whether you realize it or not, there's people in our database. A lot of people. Like you saw that I pull up the letter A, there's quite a few people in here that show up when I just type in the letter A. And so why wouldn't you send an email out to all those people? I would say something like, we've known each other for a long time, and I'm not sure if we're connected on Facebook or not. But if we're not connected, I'd surely like to be your friend on there. I'm finding that it's easier and easier, and more people are looking to connect and communicate on Facebook rather than using email and phone. So if you're a Facebooker and you're into connecting with people and social networking and all that good stuff, make sure you send me a friend request and then leave your personal profile, right? Just like I did here. And I put this at the end of every one of my emails. This is actually a part of my signature. And I get a lot of requests because of that, and it just like tells people to connect with me on autopilot. Now, the cool thing about that is I know some of you have the Twitter logos down at the bottom and the Facebook logos down at the bottom. That's cool. But this looks like I went out of my way to ask them to connect with me on Facebook. So you're more than welcome, again, to swipe my style there, because it works. And matter of fact, it works to the point to where yesterday, Kelly, who's a broker at Century 21 in New Jersey, sent me a referral for a lady that needs a social media coach in her real estate office. And so it works so well that it says we sure are friends on Facebook, right? So, and I've known Kelly for a while. We have an affiliate deal. And so the funny thing about that is even she like took the time to read that, and yes, we are connected on Facebook already. So it's powerful, it's easy, and like I said, it's the simple things that matter the most. But I would send them out, and I would send them the link to your personal Facebook profile. Even if you have the people that you normally send the e-newsletter to, or the people that you have a drip campaign on, just ask them to connect with you on Facebook. You can feel free to reach me there. You can instant message me. We can chat. I'll answer any questions if you get odd things that come in the mail. Now, the next application that you take, when you're on the phone, you say, hey, while I got you on the phone, let's connect on Facebook. You can always send me a message through there. And everything else and whatever you could possibly need if you're a Facebook person, right? Especially as more and more homeowners are getting younger and younger, right? And they're coming up from the Twitter and Facebook generation, especially over the next few years. That's going to be a more comfortable way for them to connect or to communicate, So you might as well go ahead and connect with them now on Facebook. So when you're taking that application over the phone, or you're having that warm phone conversation with them to put the finishing touches before getting them to sign the application or sending the Sure Docs out, all you got to do is simply say, hey, if we're not already connected on Facebook, my Facebook profile is, I went to GoDaddy.com for $10. I bought LikeRyan.com. That way I could just give them something easy over the phone to connect with me, instead of them having to remember Ryan.Stuman, which wasn't so smart when I dreamt it up, but that was a long time ago. But instead of them having to remember that, LikeRyan.com is just as good. And it's something that's catchy and they can remember it, so well worth the $10. But what we're trying to do, and where we're trying to go all this, and I'm going to get deeper into this over the next few weeks, I needed to give you this background and kind of take a few steps back and give you some basics to go over all this stuff first. Because what we're going to do over the next few weeks is we're going to build a funnel. Okay, we're going to build a funnel where we drive everybody that you have to connect with you on Facebook. And from there, we're going to incubate them over the next couple of weeks by putting posts out there a couple times a week, right? You're more than welcome to follow the things that I post about. Like I said, copy my style. None of the people that we're connected to in most cases are going to see the two of us, right? We run in a lot of different circles because we're all over the place. And so feel free to like change it up. If you see something on a page that's funny, man, swipe that stuff and copy it. The best place that I find to get content is Reddit or Twitter, because you can search anything on those sites, and then the people on Facebook have no clue what's going on at Reddit or Twitter, so you can come up with really good content to share, right? And so that's just a really good way for you to find content. Plus, there's Google. You can always find content on there. But what we're going to do is we're going to take all of your contacts and we're going to drive them to connect with you on Facebook. Then we're going to incubate that relationship, going at least 2 posts a day, and every third post we're going to talk about business. You're going to see people start sticking their hands up and reach out to you. I know when Brian first started doing this, within the first month or so, he had like 4 people reach out to him for refinances that he was connected to on Facebook. And so you're going to see that happen. And then we're going to continue to drive them even further to where they can fill out an application. We'll start working on targeting real estate agents to where the real estate agents can fill out an application to talk to you about social media, just like they filled out an application to talk to me. And then I'm going to share with you the exact strategy that you're going to share with them. So now that some of you have, there's plenty of training back there, but some of you have been in this long enough to be able to take this to the next level. And now that we've got this little break to where we've taken a step back to basics to make sure everything's covered, next week we'll talk about what to do with everybody and how to incubate them online so that you can deepen that bond. So make sure this week that you continue to post. Go ahead and set you up a free buffer account. Make sure you post on LinkedIn regularly. Make sure that and by all means, feel free to share links from hardcorecloser.com. I mean, that's beneficial to all of us, and that's definitely why I made that site. Go ahead and fill up your buffer and use it for LinkedIn, and get your 2 posts a day going on LinkedIn, or at least once a day on LinkedIn. Get your 2 posts a day going on Facebook, right? So that's just like a couple seconds a day that you take out to put your thoughts basically on the Facebook blog. And then the third thing is craft an email and shoot so that we can send an email out to your list to get them to connect with you. If you want me to do a couple of things, this is what I'm more than happy to help you with. If you want to write your summary on LinkedIn and then have me take a look at it and put my razzle-dazzle editing skills to it, I'd be more than happy to do that. Same with your About section on Facebook. I'd be more than happy to put my penmanship behind you and kind of give it a little bit of jazz after you write the basic outline of it. So basically you write it the way that you would write it, and then I'll spice it up, edit it, and all that other stuff. The other thing is feel free to send me the emails that you're going to send out asking people to connect with you, and I'll be more than happy to add a little copy to that and make sure that it's a little bit more compelling as well. So, hey, I'm here for you. Don't feel like you can't reach out to me. Like I said, Matthew and Brian have both reached out to me and asked me to do some stuff with them, and we got some things going on that level. And the rest of y'all, some of you have been in for a while, so you're just kind of blowing and going. But the rest of you, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here to help you. I want to walk you through exactly what you need to do. But in the meantime, make sure that you take these 3 action items this week: the email, the sending the email out to connect with people, the writing the summary section, and I'll edit it. And then make sure that you do those action steps, and then we will catch you next week unless you need me before then. And I'll see what I can do about getting this recording up, even though I clicked all over the place and probably drove a lot of you mad. So with that being in mind, I appreciate it, and I will catch y'all next week.